Hello everyone, amateur meteorologist first and weather here. It is July 26th, 2019, and welcome to my winter thoughts number one video. That winter and forecasting winter is one of the most exciting things personally for me, and I love basically figuring out what the puzzle of winter will be. So this is the first puzzle piece, looking at the factors for the first time in late July, early August, and basically sharing with you guys my thoughts. And so before I get started in the video, I do want to ask if any of you guys are financially able to please support me on Patreon. I'll post a link down below in the description, and anything helps with I have a couple of tiers, and with those tiers you'll get customized forecasts, you'll get my royalty-free photography, you'll get more in-depth detail in what I'm thinking day to day, rather than just every couple of days. So with my YouTube videos, you'll get a more detail with what I'm thinking, the pattern, and how this could affect your location. And in general, you're just going to get a more in-depth forecast. So if you are able to, I would really appreciate it if you could support me on Patreon. And with that, let's get right to the video. So first, one of the main drivers of a winter, but certainly not the only one, is the ENSO, El Nino / La Nina, whatever is going on west of the waters of South America near the equator. And so this is essentially the first big step in creating a winter forecast, of looking at what this is going to be for the winter. And I think there is pretty good consensus right now that we will be entering an ENSO phase, where we will see values not warm enough for an El Nino or not cold enough for a La Nina, and we'll be right in the middle. And here are a few images. This is from the NMME, this is CFS, and these are just essentially a bunch of models provided by the IRI, International Research Institute, or something, I can't remember. But anyways, if we look at the first image right here, we can see that we have most of them for December. This is December through February. We can see that most of them are in this neutral range. This is the black dashed line is, I think, the mean of all of them. And as you can see, it is well within that neutral range. We are at around 0.2 Celsius above normal. And essentially all of them are in the neutral category. If we shift down to the CFS, we can see that we also are in the neutral category. The black dashed line, which is the mean or the average, is also between negative 0.5 and 0.5 in terms of temperature anomalies. And finally, in this image right here, we can see that most of the models are in that 0.5 to negative 0.5 threshold. So this winter is looking like an ENSO winter, where we don't really have too much warmth and too much cold waters. Rather, we just are seeing pretty much neutral or average water conditions west of South America. So what does this mean typically for the United States? Well, this image is used very commonly for forecasters everywhere for making winter forecasts. And so I think this image is really good in basically pointing out what happens with the jet streams and the overall pattern in an ENSO winter. As you can see, the polar jet stream is inclined to shift further south in the eastern United States, to take more of a dip. This can sometimes spill in more cold air into the Great Lakes region, the Midwest, and the Northeast and even Mid-Atlantic. And you have the subtropical jet stream that is more active. We have wetter conditions right here in the southeast, and generally warmer than average conditions in the southwest and the southeast. And then again, we have essentially warmer than average conditions here too, with the greatest concentration of warmth in the southeast, and then we have the above average precip conditions right here in the southern Mid-Atlantic, and wherever that meets the cold most often during a winter can indicate which areas will see the most snow and which areas will see the most extreme winter. However, I cannot stress enough, just this one factor is by no means an indicator of exactly what this winter will be like. This is just one little piece in an 8 or 9 step stepping stone puzzle sort of thing, which will indicate what happens this winter. This is just the base of what I will base my forecast around. So with that in mind, let's go to the Words of Wisdom page, and this is a famous quote by me, yours truly, First in Weather. And the quote is, if the west goes wrong, the east goes wrong as well. So I saw something similar to this online. I can't remember who said it. It was by some meteorologist, but essentially, the meaning of this is really important. If you cannot forecast what happens in the western portion of the United States and in the Pacific, then there's no way you're going to get what the eastern coast correct also. And this is exactly what happened last year. The western United States was completely butchered in terms of forecasting accuracy with the jet stream, me included. I completely messed up in my forecast with the subtropical jet stream. So this is just a statement that shows that that we need to keep special importance to what goes on in the Pacific Ocean, specifically the eastern part of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. So, going off of that, this is an image from the jet stream in 2018, or essentially the entire continental United States and the Pacific, and also parts of the Atlantic. And so this was, I think, by the Washington Post, and so it was showing the record subtropical jet. This is just insane stuff. We had a Virgin Atlantic flight clocked in at going 800 miles per hour, and I believe this was taken in February. All right. And so one of the main reasons our winter in the southeast and northeast was such a bust, and we saw such little actual cold and snow in February and also the latter half of January, was because this record strong Pacific jet, or it's not Pacific jet, subtropical jet, was preventing any real dipping of the north branch polar jet, and that basically kept all the cold in the northwest and the upper Midwest, and kept the southeast very warm and very snowless, including the mid-Atlantic, for the second half of winter. And as you can see here, this is from the middle of February, and we can see those warmer than average temperature anomalies right here, basically stretching like this arc, and that really, I think, helped amplify that very strong subtropical jet stream, forcing it northward and causing the cold to be just locked up in the western United States, as the polar jet stream was essentially not allowed to dip south in the eastern part of the country by this very strong subtropical jet. And I am seeing that feature show up again this winter. For example, this is the CFS December through January, or December through February sea surface temperature composite, and as you can see, we have very warm waters right here. And if we basically draw a line of where that's pointing, that has a subtropical jet actually very strong, racing just south of the mid-Atlantic. And now this would be this is very similar to typical ENSO conditions. If we go back, we have that subtropical jet stream going just south of the mid-Atlantic, and we can see right here that line is taking it just south. So this would be, if this verifies, again, we're very far out, this is just discussion. If this verifies, that would mean a very amplified and very stormy southeast and mid-Atlantic, leading to the potential of the formation of a lot of coastal systems, which could give lots of snow to the mid-Atlantic and northeast, and would generally limit the number of systems that are Appalachian runners, where they go west of I-95, causing rain there and snow inland, such as inland Pennsylvania, New York, and the Appalachian Mountains. So according to this run of the CFS, we would see more of an amplified Pacific jet south of the mid-Atlantic region, promoting more snow chances for the I-95 corridor. Now, it's a different story with the NMME forecast. This is, again, the sea surface temperature anomaly forecast for, this is November, December, and January, all right? So let me, let me just stick with this right now. So if this is what I was forecasting for December, January, and February, and if this warm streak was going like this, as you can see, that warm streak is angled upwards, all right? And so that would mean the Pacific jet would be taking a much more northeasterly turn, and this again would be the same thing as 2018, where we saw a limit of the cold in the eastern part of the country, and we would see a lot more systems going like this, promoting a lot more snow and cold in the Midwest, specifically the northwestern portions of the Midwest. So this is another scenario that I think could impact our winter this year, and so I think the placement and the direction of this area of warmer than average waters will be crucial in determining how our winter plays out. Now, this is the PDO, Pacific Decadal Oscillation. This is also very important, And so for the past few years now, we've had this consistent warm blob over southern Alaska, and this has really helped to uh, make a very strong ridge here, making Alaska very warm, unfortunately, but making that jet stream amplified northward, then crashing down south. Obviously, that didn't happen in the last winter, as we actually ended up with a cold blob south of Alaska with just a little area of warmer than average waters. And so this year, both models, as you can see, have that classic horseshoe shape with that warm PDO, or that positive PDO. So it's going to be interesting to see how it shapes out. 2018, 2019, we saw a negative PDO. And as you can see, we are slowly starting to decrease, and we are starting to go into the neutral category. So it's going to be interesting to see where the PDO takes us. Will it stay neutral, slightly negative, or will it really jump up into that positive category? That will have a big impact on our temperatures this winter. As of now, I think we are slightly inclined to see neutral to slightly positive conditions as of now. But again, we're very far out, so this is just speculation, discussion, really not an official forecast. So these are the correlations with positive QBOs, and as you can see, we have a vast area of below average temperatures, or pretty much well below average temperatures in the southeast. As you can see, the scale is quite low, 0.9, but over so many years with those positive PDOs, the significance is much higher. So as you can see, with a positive PDO, excuse me, if I said QBO earlier, we can see that we have basically this diagonal line through the country. We have below average temperatures south and east, and then above average temperatures in the northwest, including California and parts of Nevada. So again, this is really interesting to see. This video focused mostly on the Pacific, because again, the Pacific is the most important part in determining the winter forecast. And things like the NAO and the AO, we really can't get into that until later in the year, like August. Not even August, more like October and November, when we can really think about those things. Right now, the best thing to look at is the PDO, the subtropical jet, as we learned the hard way last year, and also the conditions with the El Nino, La Nina, or ENSO. So again, in summary, I think this winter we are on track to see ENSO conditions, and I think the subtropical jet will be a major factor in determining where the cold sets up this winter, and where we see all those storms running up the coast, or whether they run inland, providing cold and snow in the upper Midwest. And also, I think the PDO will also be a significant factor this winter. So now, what happens with the country? What will happen to the forecast? So again, that is a question mark right now. That is a big question. We really can't decide right now, because we're too far out, and right now this is just speculation. Things are definitely going to change as we go through the next few months. So again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.